Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, my weekly interview show where I get to learn a little bit about somebody else's perspective on movies. And I have one of my oldest friends here, Kevin. Irwin, thank you so much for coming on.
It's good to be here, Shane.
Last time we did this over Zoom, now we could do it in person, because we live like 10 minutes from each other, so there you go.
It isn't 2020 anymore.
Yes, which that literally was when we did the last one, so it's been a while. We've creeped out, except I don't know if you want to today, because as of right now, I'm pretty sure the wind chill's in single digits as we're recording this.
It's 20 degrees.
Yep, it's a lovely day. But it's a lovely day to stay inside and talk about movies. So, to get things started, so this is, Kevin, your second time on here, so starting off with, what's a previously released film that you haven't seen that you're most excited to check out?
So I was thinking about this because I had a couple choices. I have to go with Seven Samurai that came out in 1956. That's a Kurosawa movie, right?
It sure is, and it's literally right next to my face.
Oh.
So, I have my Criterion Collection one right here.
That's nice.
It is, so like, I know it's a hard sell because unless you're like really into movies, it's a hard sell because one, it's over 3 hours, and two, it's in Japanese. And I guess it's also in black and white. But if you get past those things, it's amazing. It's an amazing film.
I don't mind any of those.
Kevin's going to enjoy it.
Subtitles have never bothered me.
Yeah, but it's also really interesting watching that film and realizing how many movies just straight up ripped it off. Because, like, The Magnificent Seven is literally just an American Western remake of it. And then so is A Bug's Life. Which is one of the most interesting adaptations of it, except instead of turning out to be real warriors, they're a bunch of circus performers and stuff like that.
I don't remember A Bug's Life, so I didn't know what the plot was.
Yeah, it's because like the general idea of Seven Samurai is it's a village who are being harassed by like a gang, and they're like, we need to protect ourselves. We're going to hire some samurai to protect us. And it's amazing action. It deals with some very interesting societal things, too, because, like, the people hire them, but don't trust them because they're a bunch of Ronin. So, like, they're like, we don't trust people. They're dishonored. And so it has all those kinds of layers to it, but it's a really exciting movie. And honestly, if those watching haven't really dove into any Kurosawa films, he makes some amazing films. Now, Kevin, flipping that, so looking into the future, what's a movie that hasn't come out yet that you're most excited about?
John Wick Chapter 4.
I knew that was going to be your answer, and also, that's my most anticipated movie of this year, too.
I just want to see some people's heads get blown off.
I think the moment in the first teaser trailer for Chapter 4, when him and Donnie Yen are fighting and literally blocking each other's bullets with samurai swords, I'm just like...
I don't know if I even saw the trailer, I just know I'm going to dig it.
You know what? I didn't need to see the trailer either. I was sold. Which I felt so bad. So, quick story. We were supposed to go see that. I was supposed to see that for like my bachelor party weekend because it was really supposed to release then, last Memorial Day weekend. Oh. And then Ethan called me, my brother, and was like, "We're gonna go see this." I'm like, "Ethan, it got pushed back a year," and he's like, "What?" But then Top Gun was out. And boy, was that a surprise. So
yeah, I wasn't following any of that.
Yeah. Oh, it was so frustrating. Well, you know, a lot of things were frustrating over the last couple of years. But just watching how many times movies change release dates. But we're finally getting it, and it looks amazing, and I'm excited. And from what I could tell, they said there's possibilities of Chapter 5. I don't know. This new one seems like, based off of what I could tell from the trailers, that it might be like, this could be it if they wanted to. And you know what? If they did, and if it's around the same quality as the other three, one of the greatest action franchises of all time, bar none. And you go, Keanu Reeves. We all love you. Now, Kevin, I love having these conversations with people because so many things get remade at this point. Right. We've already talked about some already in just our first couple of questions. Most people hate remakes, but what's one film you actually want to see get remade?
All right. So you might kill me for this answer, because you've got a poster up on your wall. My answer to this question would be the first Mad Max movie from 1979.
Well, what's interesting is, like, I love that movie, but, like, you could tell it was made for, like, $10.
The thing about it is that all those movies, I love them all. I love the first one, too.
Yep.
That one sticks out in that series, kind of like a sore thumb, I'd say. Well, I still love it, but it doesn't like vibe with the other movies.
Well, and tonally, it's like everything else is a legit post-apocalyptic thing, and this is like on like honestly probably could happen today with the state of the world that we live in,
and that's kind of cool.
But yeah, you can tell it's cheap, and like what's interesting is like. I felt like Fury Road was the movie that George Miller would have made in 1981 if he had $150 million.
So I probably wouldn't even have thought of this or given this answer if it wasn't for Fury Road. I think that movie kind of showed that you could do anything with Mad Max.
Yep.
It's more of a mythos.
Yep.
You could put anyone in the role. It doesn't even have to be Tom Hardy. You could cast somebody else and just... You keep going with it. This guy's a legend, right?
I'm, like, seriously wondering if The Wasteland's actually going to happen, which was supposed to be the sequel to Fury Road.
Oh.
We are getting Furiosa.
I heard about that.
So, honestly, I could see it. Well, that's the thing, too, because, like, they more or less remade Fury Road, Road Warrior, just put steroids in it, and just made it, like, the most bonkers thing of all time. So that's you know what? It is right to just kind of retell the story. So I get it. I'm not gonna kill you. There you go. Nor am I upset.
It makes sense, right?
It does make sense. Now, I really enjoyed this question because Kevin and I have had quite a few fond memories of going to the movies together, and one I wouldn't call. Did you watch Green Lantern with me, or were you just working at Lowe's when I saw it? I can't even remember.
I took you to see it for free, right?
Yeah.
Because I worked there.
Yeah, I'm glad it was free.
Right.
But, Kevin, what's your fondest memory of going to the movies?
Okay. So I have a tied answer for this one.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, it would be the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh.
When that came out. That was probably my first real experiencing a blockbuster. There were people sitting in the aisles, people sitting, squishing in two people into one seat, that sort of thing. I hadn't seen that before, and there was just a lot of cheers.
You know what's so interesting at this point is none of that could ever happen again because they have so many show times for like
that's a good thing.
Yeah, because like back then you legitimately had to go at midnight for like opening night, and not like I once saw Godzilla King of All Monsters at 4:30 on an opening night Thursday. I'm like, this is basically just this is open on Thursday. So what's the difference of just saying this on Thursday? But that's pretty cool. I'm trying to remember the last time I was in a movie theater that packed.
So my tied answer was going to be Revenge of the Sith.
Oh my god!
Because that was a similar experience with the theater overflowing.
Did you have Mr. Agnew in middle school?
Yeah, we had a teacher, a middle school teacher, who hyped it up.
Yeah, and he went opening night.
Right.
And then talked about, well, he didn't spoil anything, but was acting like, hey, look how cool I am. I got to see it opening night, and we're just a bunch of 7th graders being like, what?
No, I saw it opening day, too.
I didn't.
I didn't plan to see it. My parents surprised me with advance tickets they had bought for it, so because they knew I was hyped for it.
That's pretty awesome. I'm trying to think. I probably saw it that weekend.
Right.
It
might have been opening weekend. I don't know if it was opening day.
I miss the hype of stuff like that because like basically it's just what Marvel movies at this point, and even then like. I saw...
Before it became a regular occurrence.
Yeah, like...
Right.
I saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever opening night, and like half the theater was filled. Because there's like 50 show times at AMC Voorhees, because like nobody else is going to the movies to see anything there, which makes me sad. I think that
I haven't seen that movie still, actually, Wakanda Forever.
It's on Disney Plus. It came out a couple days ago.
Okay.
For Black History Month.
I'll add it to my my watch list.
There you go. Like I'm
not caught up on any of the Marvel movies now anymore.
There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of things to keep track of. I just got invited to a press screening for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania 2 days early. I'm like,
that's cool.
Because I can't go opening night this semester to anything because I'm teaching a 6:30 to 9:30 class. So I'm like, well, I can't see it opening night. I'm going to see it 2 days early. But just on a side note, fond memories from just since Kevin's here. Some of my fondest memories of seeing movies with Kevin. One, I remember seeing Prometheus with you.
We did catch that one.
At Cinemark. Right. We've seen... I don't know if we saw the first one or not. I feel like we did. All the Expendables movies together.
I think we saw them all.
Yeah, so when 4 comes out this fall, because apparently that's a thing, we have to watch it.
I hadn't heard about that.
And I think the ones that stuck out to me the most was when we were in... Crap, what year of school were we in? In 2007. Because
sophomore year?
Back-to-back weeks, Spider-Man 3 and Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End came out.
That would have been like break between 9th and 10th grade.
Yeah, because we saw both of them back-to-back, which, like, those were two of the biggest, like, third movies in a series, probably of our childhood.
However, I didn't catch Pirates of the Caribbean.
I thought you were with me for that one.
No. I haven't seen any of those movies except the very first one. And I saw that one on VHS, not in the theater.
Well, we definitely saw Spider-Man 3 together. I remember that much.
Yeah, probably. Because I saw that several times in the theater.
And then I remember seeing the first Avengers movies with like 15 of my friends from college. And then I went home 2 weeks later and saw it with you and Ethan.
Right.
Which, I don't see movies in theaters multiple times, like, very often at all. So, I remember, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen 3 out of 4 Avengers movies multiple times in theaters, though.
I definitely saw Endgame more than once, I know that.
I think
the first Avengers movie.
That actually might be the one that I've seen the most in a theater. I saw that 3 times.
I think I did, too.
Because it's in my closet over there, but I got the Infinity Gauntlet poster that they gave out when they put in the extra scenes when they tried to like push to like break the box office record, and it turned out to be a unfinished Hulk introduction scene where he looked like he was from a PS2 game. So it was so worth it. But you know, it was Endgame, and I only paid $5 because it was a Tuesday night.
There you go.
Back when I did that. Now, Kevin, what's a film that you feel like really exceeded your expectations?
The one that came to mind for me was Blade Runner 2049.
That was a hard thing to like go into expect, like what the hell to expect out of that.
I didn't know what to expect. I thought this could go either way.
Mm-hmm. And to be frank, the trailer didn't say anything.
It didn't give a lot away.
Like
it left room for you to doubt if it was going to be good or not.
Basically, you got the vibe and the look to it, but you had no idea what the hell the movie was about.
I actually prefer it over the first Blade Runner movie.
I do too.
And I love the first one too.
I have a beautiful Steelbook 4K back there somewhere of Blade Runner 2049. I specifically got that because it was such a nice...
Not Blade, and Blade 2.
Yeah, we don't talk about Blade Trinity in this house.
I haven't seen Blade Trinity. I'll have to add that to my list.
Don't.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I've seen it, and...
I've been saying that for years.
You don't have to watch it. Wesley Snipes didn't want to be in it.
I've heard they had to CGI his eyes open because he was sleeping through certain shots, or he wouldn't open his eyes.
He was so high, too.
He checked out.
Yeah, he was 100% checked out. He was mad that Ryan Reynolds was getting so much attention for being in it, too.
Probably because they had to give him more attention because he wasn't participating.
They literally did have to expand the scenes that him and Jessica Biel were in because Wesley Snipes wouldn't show up.
Just what I've heard. I haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah, but it's by far the weakest one. But, you know.
They're making a new Blade.
I know, with Mahershala Ali.
That should be good.
They already had to fire the director because apparently his script sucked. So, and they pushed it back. So at least they're not rushing it.
Well, that's something that I guess happens a lot in pre-production, right?
Well, and you know what? That's an interesting thing, too, because, like, all this shit happened all the time. We just didn't hear about it because there's no social media. Now it's like one little thing happens and we're like, oh my God, what the hell's going to happen in this movie? You know, there's certain movies out there, greatest movies of all time. Like, there's a whole entire documentary about Apocalypse Now and how much of a cluster cuss that was. And it turned out to be one of the greatest films of all time, except, like, Martin Sheen died of a heart attack. They dealt with, like, a monsoon and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm pretty sure it broke Francis Ford Coppola. So, there you go. Nobody knew about any of that stuff. Like the way that we know about stuff today.
There was a lot going on.
A lot going on. Now, this is always a tricky question because not everybody's like a big reader. But
neither am I, so I had to finesse this one. But you can go ahead.
That is okay because I've gotten some interesting answers to this one. But what is something that you would like to see adapted from a written work as a movie?
Okay, so this might be a weird answer because I picked a play.
Okay.
And I don't even watch plays, but this started as a play. It's already been adapted as a TV movie.
Okay.
It's called Prescription Murder. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
So it's already been adapted. As the very first episode of Columbo. It's a Columbo. Columbo, the whole show.
One more thing.
Yeah, the whole premise of the show. It all started based on this one play.
Interesting.
So it was adapted from a play into I think a TV performance of a play at first with some other actor, and then they got Peter Falk, and they made the first Columbo TV movie.
That's pretty legit.
It's kind of old. It's actually really good. It still holds up, if you ask me. But
I'll have to go back and watch the first episode of Columbo.
Right. It might be blasphemous to say I want them to remake Columbo, but he technically didn't start as a TV show, and I think it could still work as maybe a feature film.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good.
Well, it's very interesting, some of the origins of things, because, like, Die Hard was based off of a book.
Yeah, and then
it was supposed to be Frank Sinatra because he was contractually obligated. They had to ask him first.
Because they did a movie with him before where he played the same character.
Like 20 years before. Right. Can you imagine?
I think they changed the name or something.
Yeah, I can't even. But that's a really interesting story.
Alternate universe.
It's pretty cool how some pilots come about. And
right.
Some pilots are really awesome, and you never know, like, especially back then, you didn't know. There's very few shows that I feel like have, like, a pilot come out, and then they just decide if, like, it's going to go out, but, like...
That 80s show.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, but that's 90 shows on my list to watch.
It's on my list, too, but that 80s show, do you know who it stars?
No.
You know Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? He's the main guy in that.
Glenn Howerton was...
Yeah. And, Glenn Howerton.
Oh my God.
I tried to watch it on YouTube. I couldn't get through it.
Wow.
Bad? You can try sometime, but you might not make it through the first
how
5,
many
10 minutes.
I was about to say, how many minutes did you get through?
I want to say probably 7 or 8. It was like a half-hour episode, 20, 25-minute episode. I don't know, but I couldn't finish it.
That's sad. That's really sad. Now, shifting gears to some like other aspects of movies, you know, which I know you mentioned you didn't even see a trailer for John Wick Chapter 4, and you don't need one.
Right.
But what is your favorite movie trailer?
If I had to pick one... This is also another tied answer for me, but if I have an easy number one pick, and that's the first teaser trailer we got for the 2014 Godzilla movie.
Oh my God.
For me, that was one of the best ones.
I
Honestly, that whole ad campaign, I could pick any of those trailers, and they were good to me.
It even tricked us into thinking that Bryan Cranston was going to be the main character.
It didn't trick me into thinking that. I just knew he was going to be in it. I never thought he was a main character, actually. But I enjoyed it.
That trailer was amazing. I remember when that came out and just like the scope of it, and you're just like, oh my God. And I feel like that movie, better than any Godzilla movie has really captured like just how giant this is.
That was going to be my next point. People can say what they want about the movie, but the trailers and the movie, they meshed and they delivered on what they were promising. If you ask me, which was Godzilla.
Like my only main gripe is like I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is very interesting, and I
have to somewhat agree and disagree. I think that's the point of him. And I think he's supposed to be kind of a blank slate that you can throw yourself into.
I feel like
project yourself onto.
If you know what, if Bryan Cranston wasn't in the movie, I probably wouldn't have bothered me so much. But I'm like, I fell in love with him so quickly, and then I'm just like, oh, now I'm stuck with you the rest of the movie. But the thing is, anytime they tease Godzilla, and that's my thing. I don't need Godzilla to be in every single second of this movie if you compel me with what's in the movie. Like the original Godzilla film, there's a lot of human interactions in it.
There is.
And I love that movie.
I treat all the human stuff in the 14 movie as more of a, like you're on a roller coaster ride. Mm-hmm. You don't need to have the most compelling characters as long as you're there for the ride. And that's what it delivered for me.
God. That finale of that movie.
That was a good finale.
Oh my God. I freaked out in the theater when he started, his spine started lighting up. I'm like, that was one of the coolest moments I think ever watching a movie in a theater.
I would have to pick that movie. That was a contender for best theater experience. Uh-huh. I got spoiled for the fact that he was going to use his radioactive breath. I was trying to avoid all spoilers, but somebody posted a screenshot online.
People suck.
And I went, oh, now I know. So it kind of spoiled
it. Just like
a little bit.
Pull it open and just like, that was crazy.
And I found out the same day I went to see it. That's when I saw it because I was on social media. Someone posted it like on Facebook.
So similar situation for me, and then I'll let you say what your other trailer was because it's my show. You could give two answers.
Okay.
So the day I was going to see, because I didn't get to go see opening night Multiverse of Madness. I got to see Friday night. I just wanted to post one of my videos to YouTube.
Multiverse of Madness is a good pick.
All I wanted was to post a video to my YouTube, and the second I pull YouTube up, it's just videos with descriptions in the title. I'm like, I was so mad because I'm like, it spoiled at least 3 of the cameos in it.
That's shocking. That's actually one I managed to avoid spoilers for. Even though I kind of figured, I still avoided being actually spoiled.
This is why I feel like I have to go opening night to those movies, because it's so hard to avoid things nowadays.
I went opening night to that
and one. Especially when you have... Well, I was an idiot, and I didn't put it on my calendar.
Oh.
Because then I bought Phillies tickets for that Thursday night because they were $9.
That's a good price.
And I'm like, crap! I double booked myself, and it's a lot easier to reschedule a movie than it is to reschedule a baseball game.
Right.
So, but you know what? It's my fault for not putting on my calendar, right? And then all of that came afterwards. But what's your other trailer?
My other pick was going to be the first trailer that dropped for the first Hobbit movie, Unexpected Journey.
Oh, I was so hyped. I
was hyped too, and for me it lived up to the hype.
Well, I enjoyed the first one, and I actually think this, like, I enjoy watching them. There's just certain things, like, did I need a love triangle between, like, pretty dwarfs and stuff like that?
I gotta say, I rewatched those movies recently.
Uh-huh.
And I don't get why I was so upset by certain things back then.
Well,
but I do get it to a degree, and I'm still mad at them for butchering the... It was supposed to be 2 movies at first, and the studio kept pushing.
Well, it was supposed to be Guillermo del Toro directing 2 movies, And
Peter Jackson almost died filming those movies. He was so overworked.
Well, and
he wasn't supposed to be involved. I mean,
yeah, he was supposed to like produce. That was it. And like Guillermo del Toro does what Guillermo del Toro does, and like latches name onto like 50 different projects, and that fell through. And it's also why a bunch of the designs are not consistent, because he made a lot of those design and aesthetic choices, which like that kind of stuff didn't bother me. I wish there was less CGI.
The CGI doesn't bother me. I think it's just a different design choice.
Yeah.
I do wish there was more planning, though, because the first movie was like a passion project for Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
The first series, first trilogy. Second trilogy, he was the backup director.
Yeah.
And, he just got dealt the shitty hand. I think he did okay, but...
And I think there's things about
the movies could have been a lot better.
Like, I love the interaction between Bilbo and Gollum.
Bilbo and Smaug.
Oh my god.
That was a great scene.
The only thing that makes that even better is seeing the behind the scenes of Benedict Cumberbatch doing motion capture, crawling around like a lizard. Oh my god. He was so committed to that performance, and it shows.
The second and third movie could have just been one movie.
Well, literally the last movie
they were supposed to be. They were advertised as it was advertised as a 2-part series until the third movie was announced.
The last movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it literally is just a giant... Lake Town gets burnt to the ground, and then just one battle.
There's maybe 30 minutes of important story in that movie. You could have combined it into the second.
Well, you know what's insane is it's literally 7 pages from the book.
And I'm okay with them expanding it.
Yeah.
It's just it could have been done better.
Well, because the thing is, the Battle of the 5 Armies isn't a big deal in the book, because it's supposed to be about Bilbo. Bilbo gets knocked out at the beginning of it, and then they spend 2 pages somebody telling him what happened.
Yeah. That happens a lot in the Lord of the Rings movies, too, I hear.
Yeah.
But,
that's
a different story.
Well, because the thing is, it wasn't, like... You're making a big fantasy epic, and with, like, war and battle and stuff, like, it's different reading it on page, and then actually being able to expand upon it on a big screen.
But I guess there's it paid off better in those movies. And speaking of CGI, there's the one CGI dwarf in Battle of the Armies. That was off-putting.
I was literally going to bring up Billy Connolly and I love Billy Connolly, but did you need Billy Connolly that bad that you CGI'd his character because, like, he's old and probably wouldn't have been able to do the role?
I respect them trying to keep him in the movie. They probably should have recast it, though.
Yeah, I love Billy Connolly, though. Right. Billy Connolly! And it's just like, was it Dane Ironfoot? I'm pretty sure he rides up on a pig.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool.
Well, besides the CGI, the idea of the character is great. I'm just like, I want a D&D as a dwarf who rides up on a giant ass pig. So like,
but you think they went through all the trouble to avoid CGI for the dwarves? They put them all in makeup, and then that guy is just CGI.
Yeah,
I get it for the orcs. They didn't have the budget for it or something, but for the dwarves,
well,
they're basically humans. But
and like, he was in one of the movies for like
not that
how much
time?
Yeah, right. So
that let me down.
Yeah, one of the things I love so much about the original Lord of the Rings films is the tactileness of everything.
I think that's a bonus, but I definitely agree. That's one thing I really like about it.
I think I watched like hours of documentaries on like A&E on behind the scenes of making those things. I'm just like, how did they do this? It's just insane.
Also, watching the Hobbit movies in 4K, there's no added benefit, but in Lord of the Rings, you pick up a lot more details in 4K. That was kind of it doesn't suffer like a lot of movies would.
Yeah, I have my 4Ks down there, and then I have my really nice looking extended edition like box set.
It actually benefits. It looks better in 4K. The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I rewatched Fellowship around my birthday. It was the first time I was watching the 4K versions. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, shifting gears into some music related to movies. What's your favorite use of an actual song in a movie?
All right, so I'm going to dip back into The Hobbit, and I'm going to pick the Misty Mountains song in the first Hobbit movie.
And I appreciate that. Like, usually I think of, like, actual, like, outside of the movie kind of songs. But, yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. That was in one of the trailers, wasn't it?
It was in one of the trailers, and it's...
Because that got me hyped.
It's not the full poem from the book.
Yeah.
It's like a snippet of it. It's like a section of it, but I thought it was well done.
Don't they do the whole thing in the extended edition?
Maybe. They probably do. I actually haven't seen the extended.
All I know is the extended edition of Battle of the Five Armies is rated R. Because there's so much blood and gore in it.
No, the theatrical version was rated R.
Was it?
Yeah. I didn't realize until I went and bought my ticket, and when I left the theater, I looked and it's rated R.
Well, that's a hot... Well, the one shot of Lee Pace decapitating, like, 8 orcs at the same time, I'm just like, what?
From what I heard is they tried to cut it down to get a PG-13, but they couldn't, like, get it down in time for its release.
Oh, why? Because they were trying to rush through making 3 movies.
Big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise. But yeah, that song's great, and that was probably one of the most like felt like Lord of the Ringsy kind of moments in it, cause like it just made me feel like I was reading the book again, and I really appreciated that. Now
I'll have to check those out. I do want to check out the extendeds.
I think I have them in this 4K set because I've never actually watched the extended editions of them.
I've actually heard they're better, but
well, you know what?
I have my doubts because I feel like those movies need to be shorter.
Yeah,
but
that was my biggest gripe about the first one.
However, if you give Peter Jackson breathing room, that's probably an improvement.
Yeah. Because I think they clocked it at like 50 minutes before Bilbo leaves the Shire in the first movie. I'm just like, oh my. But you know what? They're a lot of fun. Yeah. I remember seeing the first one with Ethan, and that was a fun time in the movies. Now, I don't know if you're the kind of person, Kevin, to sit and listen to scores or not. But if you had to pick one score to sit and listen to, what are you going to listen to?
So I don't always, but one I keep going back to is the score from Man of Steel. That was my gym playlist for a while.
Hans Zimmer's hard to argue with.
Right. Actually, yeah, anything by him.
Interstellar's
another good one.
Yes. I love organs and just the organs in Interstellar, but the first flight song from Man of Steel, so great. And people like Man of Steel has grown on me a lot. Like every time I watch that movie, I think I enjoy it more.
I enjoyed it when it came out quite a bit, and it's grown on me too.
Well, because I want a Krypton. So, like I want more Russell Crowe. I want more Michael Shannon.
It would have been cool if we got more Krypton.
Yeah, because that was cool. It wasn't it was a cool aesthetic from the first, like the Christopher Reeves ones, like just a bunch of crystals everywhere. But like, my God.
Probably for budgetary reasons, they couldn't give us more than that.
No.
But
no, not
it was
at all.
Nice. It was
they already had to pay Marlon Brando like $1 million for a week to shoot.
Oh, I meant Man of Steel.
Oh, Man of Steel.
The Krypton sequences were probably the most expensive in the movie.
100%, because that was so fully realized.
Right.
I'm like, holy crap. I bet you they had plans for that at some point.
However, I gotta say, I do like the crystal version from the old movie too.
Yeah,
it's got its own charm that I like.
It's a very specific kind of feel to it. Like
it also feels alien.
I don't think I would want a whole movie about that.
I don't know about that,
but like the intro works so perfectly, and just looking at Marlon Brando with like silver hair and just in his outfit, him saying, "Then the planet Krypton," just like.
I'd actually say I'd like more Krypton from both of those movies.
And we're not going to get either of them.
No.
So we'll just have to wait to see what James Gunn does with Krypton in the new one. So we'll see, because we're getting another Superman.
I just don't like that all these directors keep saying we have to go younger with the actors. I don't know why, but...
I don't know. Unless it's like part of the plot of like he's supposed to be like...
I get it.
Like, but that's
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
That's the story that they want to go with, I guess. But like, I feel bad for Henry Cavill. Like,
oh, me too.
They did him dirty. Like, we never got Man of Steel 2, basically like here's your sequel, except you have to share the stage with Batman the whole entire time. So it's not really it's not his time to shine.
They were supposed to get a sequel, but never did.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say there was supposed to be a lot of things that went along with the Snyderverse of Justice League, but didn't happen.
Right.
Like Darkseid. And a whole bunch of stuff.
I would like to see a sequel to that Justice League.
I honestly would have too.
And I heard the ideas for it. It sounded interesting, more interesting than what we've been getting for a lot of things in superhero movies.
You know what? At this point,
we were supposed to get, Superman getting corrupted and all this stuff, and that sounded kind of cool. We're not going to get it.
No. Well, start from scratch.
Yeah.
Ish. Apparently. Still might get more Ezra Miller. Shockingly.
Oh, we are, because that movie didn't get canceled, but...
Well, no, apparently the door is open for Ezra Miller to continue after that movie.
See, that's what we don't need.
No. It's like...
Ezra Miller and more things.
I don't get...
He makes a good Flash. He's just not a good guy. If
you
ask me.
I don't get Warner Brothers Discovery at this point. But you know what? James Gunn's in the saddle, and we're going to see what happens next. But more importantly, Man of Steel's really cool, and so's the score.
It was my gym score for a while.
I listened to the Kraken and Davy Jones from Dead Man's Chest so much. Just Hans Zimmer has made some great scores over the years. Now, my final question for you, Kevin. What do you wish... What's one thing that you want movies to stop doing?
So I don't think this will ever happen, because a lot of movies are products of their time. This especially happens in the Marvel movies, where they'll try to force a pop culture reference into a scene where it doesn't tonally fit with the rest of the movie.
But I get that reference.
So one for me is in the first Black Panther movie, when his sister looks down and goes, "What are those?" I hated that part of the movie, but that's an example. But it happens a lot, especially in Marvel.
I did think it was really
especially the Joss Whedon era of Marvel.
Well, it's funny because you said they're so of their time. I did think the whole Wizard of Oz thing was hilarious because it just showed how
that was fine. That was fine.
But then you get I'm trying to think of
references to memes or something where
that's America's ass.
It's already dead before the movie comes out.
That's America's ass.
That was okay. That was all right.
I didn't even know that was a meme beforehand.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I'm saying, why are they making such a big deal about Captain America's ass? I guess because I don't look at Reddit.
I didn't know that was a meme.
But that's fair. I feel like the only movies that I love the pop culture references, no matter how out of date they are the first two Shrek movies.
That's a good one. Yeah,
Shrek 2 is wall to wall with pop culture references.
So what I'm saying is when it doesn't fit the tone.
Yeah,
I think with Shrek it definitely fits the tone
because they're just going all in on it.
Right.
If
you go all in, that's okay.
Yep. Tonight on Nights. That makes me laugh every single time. We're chasing a white Bronco through the woods, and I'm just oh my god, they're making O.J. Simpson references.
I just watched the Shrek movies recently too.
Oh, and we're gonna get more now that Puss in Boots: The Last Witch made a bunch of money.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, we're gonna get a new revived Shrek shared universe at DreamWorks.
So I haven't seen that either, but I've seen the first Puss in Boots movie. I like that one.
I like it. The second one was amazing.
Wow. Okay.
So
I'll have to check it out.
When you get a chance to watch it, they went all out for this, and the cast is amazing. I didn't even know John Mulaney was in the movie, and he is a really unexpected, hilarious villain in it. Nice. But there's so many great things about it. I just love Shrek. I don't love Shrek the Third though.
I haven't seen that one.
You don't have to. But anyway,
more hits and misses in Shrek, I guess.
Yeah, that was my last question for you, Kevin. But I always like to end the show by having my guests ask me a question. So, on the spot, what's a question you would like to ask the Wasteland Reviewer?
What is one movie you would delete from existence if you had the opportunity? No one remembers it ever existed.
You're going to hate me for this, Kevin.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Room.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh my god. I told myself I would never watch it again. And then we watched it for our bad movie marathon.
I can watch that movie any day.
You know what? I will admit, that was easier for me to sit through than Batman and Robin that day. At one point, I'm just like, why is Batman so boring? In that movie, specifically. Like, Batman's one of the most interesting superheroes you can ever have. And he's just so damn boring in that movie.
That's one of those movies that perplexes me. Sometimes I can sit through it, other times I can't. I was able to that time.
Well, that was why I'm perfectly fine going for like a 15-minute bathroom break. At one point, I'm like,
right.
What'd I miss? Nothing.
Nothing.
Maybe I missed one ice-related pun. That I do think that's funny. Like, at this point, he's just like Arnold Schwarzenegger is just a walking meme in that movie. And you know what? I'm okay with that. But The Room...
Right. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger does in movies.
You know what? It's either The Room or the Nick Cage Wicker Man movie.
I haven't seen that one. The Room is so pleasant to watch, though.
I thought The Wicker Man would be fun to watch, but as a whole, it is a hard watch.
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen it.
Just watch the compilation video of Nick Cage doing weird shit in it.
Now, I did hear that the original Wicker Man movie is actually pretty good.
The original Wicker Man movie...
I haven't seen that either.
Which is way up there and I can't reach it, is a great... It's like the original great folk horror movie, and it's just so great. And it's definitely worth your time. But yeah, so either The Room or The Wicker Man. Okay. Sorry.
All right. That's fair.
I will upset a lot of people on the internet because I know how many people just love, like, silly watching The Room, but
it's
like
a great source of memes, but if it got deleted from existence and I didn't remember it existed, I wouldn't be losing much.
No, I don't think society would lose anything.
Right.
But Kevin, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.